A fun new feature is coming to Tesla's fleet, and Elon Musk is feeling lucky about it. I gotta say, I like this one a lot. So I'll tell you all about it right now. Well, not right now because it's like 5 seconds of the promo, and then I'm gonna talk about it. Then and then. Oh, yeah. Well, welcome to E4 Electric, your number one source of unbiased electric car news. Go ahead and click on that subscribe button. You know why? Because that way you won't miss anything moving forward. There's also a bell notification icon there as well. Pretty useful. All right, so let's talk about it because I got to tell you, I know Elon jumps on Twitter randomly and replies and says funny stuff or outrageous stuff or stuff that violates SEC regulations, whatever. But yesterday he jumped on, maybe even today. No, I think it's yesterday. He jumped on Twitter replying to some of the suggestions, and this one I actually kind of like. So let's get to it. Here's Kelly Vaughn, I guess she says, "Hey Elon Musk, can you add an 'I'm feeling lucky' destination option and take the driver on a fun surprise adventure?" For those of you who haven't used Google before, at least not off of their homepage, but they've always had this button called "I'm feeling lucky," where you can type the keyword, and then instead of going through the search results, Google will just pick one for you. Now, I have never used this because I want the search results that I want, so I've never kind of seen. I've never seen a use for it, but when I was younger, I did used to take a random bus or a trolley around Moscow where I was born, and then jump on another bus and another bus and just see where it lands me, and then figure out where I'm at in Moscow, and it's a huge city, and then try to take subway back home. So I do understand the notion. Now here's what Elon Musk said. He said, "Would be cool if a car took you to a random fun place traveled to by other Tesla owners in the area." All right. Now there's another tweet. We'll get to it in just 1 second. There are a couple of things. First of all, that would be pretty cool. But this also suggests, not that we didn't know, that it's a reminder that Tesla does collect information about everybody who's driving their cars. They obviously want to use this to enhance autopilot because that's that a lot. I believe they call it micro mapping, where Tesla maps out every lane on the freeway, every lane on the road, figures out what are the most common routes and exits and entrances and so forth at different speeds. So that helps the autopilot. Now, I have not heard that actually being implemented, but at least this data is getting obviously gathered, and there's so much use for it, not just for the autopilot. On another hand, also, of course, if your car is stolen, they can figure out where you're at, but that is also going to hurt us a little bit in a couple of different ways. One is when they start offering the Tesla insurance, because obviously they're going to be tracking how fast you're driving your Raven P100D Eli, and obviously adjust your rates depending on that, plus mileage and all of that stuff. But secondly, listen, so far Tesla has not really been hacked in terms of data breach, which is great, by the way, and a big achievement because they've been in headlines for a while, and I'm sure every hacker is trying to do that. So kudos to them for not having their data breach. But at some point, it might happens to a lot of different very secure institutions like banks and so forth. So there's a possibility that all of this information, where you've been traveling, where you've been, can end up out there. So I'm just saying this could be a problem at some point, but I hope it stays secure. So that's one thing. Now, secondly, let's go to the second tweet. Before that, of course, a quick reminder that this video and this channel is sponsored by Byton. Check out their all-electric SUV called M-Byte, coming to the US and Europe starting at only $45,000, and that's before incentives. But it's $0 to reserve your Byton today. Over 50,000 of us have done so, and especially because it only took about 60 seconds of our time. So go to the description of this video to reserve your Byton today. All right, so let's move on to the next tweet. And by the way, quick shout out to one of my newer Patreons, Ash and Hugo. Thank you so much for joining my Patreon community and supporting this independent channel. But let's move to the second tweet. And Elon said, "Done. I'm feeling lucky and I'm feeling hungry." I'm assuming I never knew this was a emoji for that. And Yeah. So I'm not an emoji expert, I do have to say. Navigation buttons coming with next software release. I don't know what he means by done, but meaning like we've convinced him, or this girl convinced him, which is kudos to her, by the way, great idea. And not only it's going to be kind of a random destination, because I don't see that many people kind of using it. I mean, how many people who drive Teslas have, like, usually they're busy people, they're professionals, they have families and kids. How many of them want to really just randomly go somewhere? So that's a novelty, but I'm feeling hungry. I like that one because a lot of times, a lot of us want to say, "Oh, I want to try something new. I want to try a new restaurant." Especially, you're saying, okay, if other Tesla owners like this, then I'm kind of can relate to that. A lot of Tesla owners are like me. They probably want a nice food. They probably have kids. They probably have gluten allergies. Okay, maybe not the gluten allergy, but that just let's not talk about my problems. So yeah, I like this one. I think this is actually pretty cool. And this adds yet another, I don't want to say a layer, but I think it's another step to having Tesla cars, and hopefully this will, spread throughout the industry. Though I've been a little bit pessimistic lately. To have your car as, kind of an assistant, and really just your personal like, will replace this, is what I'm trying to say. I like that, and hopefully at some point they'll add apps where, apps will be able to help with a lot of stuff like this, right? This feature really should be a collab between like Yelp, Google, and Tesla, right? And come up with a feature. So I absolutely love it. I think when it's implemented, a lot of people, and maybe even myself, maybe me and Eli of my Tesla Adventures, just gonna go and pick the random destination and try a random restaurant, because I think it's going to be kind of a cool video to make. And I want to know how many Tesla owners are actually going to take up Elon Musk on this I'm feeling lucky destination part of that. And of course, Tesla owner reviews, Tesla owner suggestions, all of that can be built in. One day when they have a heads-up display, maybe just like with a Yelp, you can just look at your windshield and will tell you all the restaurants with all the ratings based on other Tesla owners that you can just kind of see projected on your windshield. I can go on and on and on, but I'm gonna stop because I'm gonna give you a little bit of time to get on a VIP list. It's a weekly newsletter that was sent out, which is essentially a bonus story that our writer, awesome writer AJ, comes up for you guys that we don't feature on the channel because there's so many stories. And of course, he writes our stories for E4 Electric. So looking forward to that. Looking forward to your comments as well. Other than that, see you next time. And remember to stay charged.